Alrighty, so we're going to use Landscapes Yarn by Lion Brand. And it's one of my favorite yarns. It's so shiny. But it is 100% acrylic. And it is a size 4, medium. Sorry. So, yeah. Alrighty, here we go. And if you hear dogs in the background, I'm sorry. But we're going to start at the black peg here. We're going to cast on some waste yarn. And just a little bit. You don't need a lot. But you want contrasting yarn separate from what you are using so you can see your stitches later. But you're going to put the waste yarn under the hook of the last black one, and you're going to basically be weaving it in and out. So in, out, and that, and yeah. So, and you want to go all the way around, and sorry, you're gonna go slow on that first one. Then once we get back to that last black peg, you want to put, not just on this machine here, but you want to go under the hooks once you get to the last black peg. And then we insert the yarn into the guide, close it up, make sure you close it. But see this little hole? That is your tension guide. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, that little hole is a tension guide, so you don't have to hold the yarn. So make sure it pops through all the way and close the door. Otherwise the needles hit it and it's like a thunk 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 thunk. Not good for the machine. But this first row, you want to go slow, just make sure it's catching the yarn. And then, yeah, so you go slow, and then we hit the black ones again, and boom, you can go normal speed. But you want to do 5 rows, roughly 5 rows. I do 5, that way it's better safe than sorry. You could do 4, or whatever you're comfortable with, in time. That way you can see the stitches and whatnot, and later on when it's cut, I do the 5, that way I know I'm not cutting my project, and I'm just cutting the waste yarn. But once we get there, we're back at the last black peg. Put the remainder of the waste yarn in the middle. I always make sure that that last piece is under the red nub, as I call it. And we're going to attach our main project yarn in the same spot as where we just left off with the waste yarn. But we're going to put it under the hook, put it through the guide, close the door, and I like to tie them together. That way there's not a big gap. Yeah, I say a lot, I'm sorry. But also, get yourself some of these clips. They're regular potato chips. I think I found them at Walmart. It holds it down so it doesn't, it holds the yarn down so it doesn't pop off the hooks. And then you reset the count here. It's through the guide. The door is closed. And first row, go slow. And we are off. And see how this moves along with it. Now it's going to clunk around a little bit, especially with the little screws here. First time I tried it, I was like, what's that noise? What's that noise? And then I realized, oh yeah. But, alright, so, sorry, it was adjusting there. And then, we just keep going around and around. Make sure you have loose yarn. If it's caked, it can come right out of the ball. But sometimes if it gets too tight, I like to make a pile in my lap. But for an adult size, we're going to do 83 rounds. For a teenager, 79. But these clips, I have 3 of them, and I got a little further in. I put them evenly distributed to hold the project with the weight. And then we just start cranking. Like I said, we get 83 rows for an adult, 79 for a teenager. Each yarn is different. A thin yarn, you may need more rows or less rows. It all also depends on the circumference of your head or who you're giving it to. That's why I give you 2 different counts for the rows. But, yeah, okay. Now I'm just checking to see how it's working up. Look how gorgeous that is looking. Oi. Oi. And check this side. If there's any pulled stitches, tuck stitches. Oh, I am loving that shine. This is great yarn. But, the project has reached the table. So I always take the clips off and I roll it like you would a turtleneck or whatever you can think of. But you just roll it around, and this will also act as weights on your project so they don't pop off your stitches. I'm always careful. I'm always scared that while I'm rolling it, they're gonna pop off the stitches. So that's why you see me going ever so gently. You will get to know your machine and what you cannot do. Me, I'm loving this, so I didn't want it to mess up. I didn't want to have to frog it. Oh look, it looks like a pair of lips. Huh. But yeah. So, alright, so we got the weight, that's all good, and we start again. And I apologize for the camera view, you can't see the counter. This particular Addi machine, the counter is working, but I've heard rumors that the counter does not like to work. But, okay, we are at 83 rows. You cut the yarn, you need to leave a little bit of a tail so we can weave it in a little bit later. I actually cut too much of a tail. Again, you'll know once you make it and you make it again, you'll know how much you really need. But we are going to then add more waste yarn. It's our favorite. Yeah, I'm just grabbing it and getting... I tried to have everything over here. But the last black peg, not just on the Addi, on the other machines, the Centros, it could be different colors. It will work for the Centro as well. But I'm just adding the waste yarn, making sure there's no holes or anything. And this one you really don't need to weigh down. But we're not doing the weaving with this waste yarn. We're just going to go around 5 times. And this is the yes, it's the waste yarn, but it's part of the finishing process, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. But again, 5 rows. I'm just making sure that this is not going to get caught up in my hooks over here. Go slow the first round. Sorry if it's making you dizzy. And then once we get to the 5 rows, this is the part that another part that I enjoy doing. Once we get to the 5, you cut the rest off. Sorry about the mess. I'm outside and yeah. But you just keep cranking. even with no yarn in your hand. This is called the cast off with waste yarn. And if you watch, it just starts popping off by itself. Boink, 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 boink. I know I'm silly. And then we put this over there. Yes, I said Indian style a lot. All right, let me show you. I got so many lights going over here so you can see, but this yarn is so shiny. I love it. But once it's off, we're going to stretch it. I guess I just wanted to show you my arm. Isn't it lovely? But you want to stretch it. It will boink back, I guess. I can't think of the word. Let me stretch and stretch, stretch, stretch. That pink is really pink. There we go. I smooth it out, flip it over, stretch it, and then I try to get on the end. See how it curls up? But that's okay because we have the waste yarn. Now you see how the... Oh, let's pull this over here. There we go. Now for this particular, it doesn't matter where your dangly bits are of the yarn. But let's get to the finishing touch. This is called, I hope I'm saying this right. It's a carabia. Jeff was telling me what it's called. I call it a key ring. A clippy key ring. I know, I'm weird. Here comes the fun part. If you have arthritis, carpal tunnel, there is another method you could use, which I will just give a quick description at the end after this, but I will show you this way as well. You can see, oh, I hope you guys can see, the different color from the waste yarn and the project yarn, the loops right here. That's your project yarn. See how why I said to use contrasting yarn? You want to start out, sorry about that, grandbaby got in trouble, dogs barked, and yeah. But okay, this is the part I was talking about with your hands. But here it goes. You hold this open, and you're going to use the open part right at the edge. We go under the first one, and basically it's like a mattress stitch, but we're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We go to this one, and it's going with this yarn, it catches on the clasp, and then my hands aren't that strong. I have the fibromyalgia, but I am doing the best that I can. I'm sorry. And then we go to this one and flip it and go under. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There you go. I talk to my projects a lot too. Do you guys do that? One day I'm waiting for it to start talking back. No, don't pull me there. Just realized you cannot see too well. You just under that one, and then we come back to this side, under that one, and just go back and forth. And I'll do it for a few so you can see what I'm doing. Every so often I'll move the yarn up on the hook, and we go back to this one, making sure not to catch the waste yarn. I mean, if you do, you do, but as long as you grab your main project, then you'll be okay. And we open it, I guess I'll explain it now. If your hands hurt too much, you can also go in with a crochet hook and gather up in a circle. Yeah, it hurts right here. um, don't do the mattress stitch, just do single crochets for every stitch around in a circle. And then you're going to attach those single crochets around the clip. I should have recorded that. So, but for now, I guess this will do. We just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Now we're back at the end. I'm using this hook, trying to make it a little easier. We just grab it and put it over the hook, because it starts to get tight. And then, come on, get on there. Get on. Maybe I should use a crochet hook, but I'm too stubborn now. Okay, that's on. Push the yarn up. I should have showed you guys the other way. I forgot about that. Let's untangle this while holding the other thing. Okay. Now here's the part where you want to look closely. You want to make sure that you do not miss any stitches. Alright, I can see two here. This part of the yarn is connected to the one that I just picked up. So we're going to pick up this one. Put that over. I'll push it down. And I believe this is the last. Come on. Work with me here, please. You fold it up if you have to. You're not going to hurt anything. Let's see if this is going to cooperate. Come on. Come on. I should really grab a crochet hook. Come on. Yep. Yes. Got it. Alright. Oh, nope. Not you. You waste yarn. Get out of there. So right now it just looks like a bedhead woke up in the morning. Oh my, I have to brush my hair. It gets prettier, I promise. And then, yeah. We find the one side is going to be easy, one side is not with the waste yarn. Let me repeat. One side is easy, one side is not. You just pull out your waste yarn. It will not hurt your project. That's why it's called waste yarn. Just get it all the way out here, and fingers, just like the old yellow pages, let your fingers do the walking. And we pull. I couldn't find. Come on. Can't find it. Is that the end? Nope, that's not the end. Come on. Oh, nope, I grabbed it in the middle. But it's coming out, so I'll pull that side. Alright, so we have the waste yarn. I'm sorry, I rolled that up into a ball. We could reuse that for another project. But we have the tail of the main yarn that we are going to weave in a little later at the end, after we do the other side. But let's push these around. Now you're gonna be tempted to straighten it out right now, but you can't, because you need to be able to open it and connect the other side. Yeah. So anybody with OCD, just bear with it. I was gonna say hold your breath, but don't do that. You'll turn blue, and then you won't be able to finish. But, okay. My hands do not want to cooperate. Alright, so I flipped it around. It's easier going this way. And just trying to find, not a corner, but the end stitch here. My left is not as strong as my right. But this side I should have used different colored yarn. It matches the one row of the main project, and I was like, oh man. So you just need to, if this ever happens, just pay attention. Luckily, my project yarn was shiny and the waste yarn was dull. That was the Red Heart Super Saver that I used. Okay. This is where I'm trying to find the stitch, the shine and whatnot. And the dogs are growling at each other. I apologize for that. Okay, I think I figured it out. Yep, still refuse to use a crochet hook. Yes, I'm one of those. Once you start with something, you gotta finish with that tool, even though it's making it more of a hassle. But we're gonna do the same exact thing. Do the mattress stitch, back and forth, back and forth. Give yourself a hand cramp. I'm making it sound worse than it is. Okay. I really should have used different colored waste yarn for this. And then just slide it on over. This tool that I'm holding, it does become your best friend with these Addi machines. So you get, I guess that's why I grabbed it. I use it so often that I got used to just grabbing for that one. Alright, let me grab this side. And we're just back and forth. Gonna do the same thing we did with the other side. Grab the project yarn, the loop, put it on, push it down, and go back to the other side. It's tedious, but it's worth it. Okay. Oh, sounds like grandbaby's getting in trouble again. He's so hyper. Alright, so I'm trying to show you how the colors almost match the waste yarn. But we grab working yarn from that side and add it on, and we go all the way to the end. And I won't have you sit here watching me fight this. Not fight this, but you know what I mean. Alright. So I'm at the end. I did want to show you the ending again. Just in case. Make sure you grab every stitch, because we don't want drop stitches. I mean, it'll look pretty cool if it's a drop stitch. There's, those could look pretty, if you do them right and whatnot, or you can make them into braids, but this particular one, I did not want drop stitches. Alright, and then just searching for more loops. There we go. Right there, come on, get in there, get it. Work with me. Okay. But you're gonna do both sides with attaching it to the clip, and you're taking off the waste yarn. This side, you might have to cut your waste yarn. Just be careful that you do not cut your main project yarn. If you pull it on the right string, sometimes it will come off easy. Me, I usually end up cutting this side of the waste yarn. Now I'm just checking for more loops here, see if I've missed any. And alright, I don't see any drop stitches, so it should look like that with the waste yarn attached. No, I think we're good. Alright. So, yeah. So I won't really let you sit there in agony watching me take off this waste yarn. But make sure you untie it first. Remember, we tied it to the project yarn. And if you can find the one strand, pull it through. Eventually, it'll start to come out easier. Like that. Me, I just cut it. I have a lot of red heart. Okay, and then we're just trying to show you how you would pull that one string out, but I'm gonna cut it. There we go. Alright, so there's the clip that opens and closes, but we're not going to worry about it. We're gonna get a yarn needle. I should really use a smaller one, but this is what I have handy. Alright. Nothing fancy here. We're just going to thread it. And we're going to feed it through so it does not come loose. Doesn't have to be perfect. It could be right up against if you can get in there. Like I grabbed the wrong needle. Just as long as you get it in there and you weave it back and forth. There we go. Eventually I'll get it in. But we're going to go all the way through. Come on. That'll work. So, I guess I'm just going to do it in sections. But you just thread it through. And then finagle this around. Right? Just like that. So you're not getting blinded by that pink. Then you find another section, little piece of it. Right there. I really should have used a smaller needle. But we all grab our favorites. And no, we don't have to use the whole strand of yarn. So I'm just going to thread this through. Alright. And there. That's all you need. You could go back in through the other way if you want, but that's your call. I'm going to cut off the extra yarn. These are sharp scissors. Oy. Alright. And then we just, with the cut waste yarn, I usually throw those out. Okay, so finished product. Now the way it goes on, because of that clip, the clip that opens, the heart is slanted. So I'll move the yarn around so it will be straight. So when you wear it, it's looks like an actual heart, not a sideways heart. But, yeah, sorry about that. It might get caught on that clip. Look how shiny this is. Ugh. I'm just in awe of this yard. And then, yeah, I left it a little slanted. I tried. Yeah, it's good enough. But, what do you think? Huh? There you go. I know my lips aren't moving. There you go. Enjoy.